Everyone knows that The Amazing World of Gumball is one of the best cartoons ever made by Cartoon Network. But did you catch all the little hidden details throughout its 240 episodes? One of these hidden details can be found in the episode where we see a bit of the Watterson family's past when Anais was still an innocent yet mischievous baby who wanted to get rid of her two brothers to have her parents' love all to herself. And when we see her in her crib drawing pictures of her wishing for her brother's demise, we can spot a skateboard leaning against the wall. If you look closely, you can see the word Beast inscribed on the toy, which is a reference to the YouTuber Mr. Beast, who is undoubtedly one of the most well-known influencers in the world. In that same episode, the show makes an amazing reference to one of the most iconic scenes in animated film history. This happens when Gumball tries to grab the box he believes Anais is in before it falls into the trash incinerator. This scene is almost identical to the scene in Toy Story 3, where Lotso, the villain of the movie, lets Woody, Buzz, and the other toys fall into an incinerator. This clearly shows that even though the animators of Gumball work for Cartoon Network, they watch and enjoy Pixar movies, just like most animation fans. These are just two of the 20 hidden details and references that you probably didn't notice in the amazing world of Gumball. So you know what to do, jump on this wave, because another Cinewave is about to start. As you might have guessed, the amazing world of Gumball is completely packed with references to pop culture. One of them, which is also one of the most obvious, happens in the episode The Flower, where the show's protagonist is completely possessed by the entity of jealousy. Carrie, who we'll talk more about in a bit, then performs some sort of ritual that expels the creature. And if you look at her and are a bit older, you'll definitely notice that she looks a lot like Slimer, one of the ghosts from the classic movie Ghostbusters. In the same episode, we can find a reference to Disney's biggest character, Mickey Mouse. When the jealousy entity is moving around Carrie's house, you can spot something shaped like Disney's logo, the head of Mickey with his two ears, on a shelf. Could they be implying that their goal is to reach Disney's level, which is the owner of the cartoon channel that is Cartoon Network's biggest rival? And this isn't the only time we see the Mickey symbol in the show. On the contrary, it's shown multiple times. For example, you can see it several times when the door to the boys' bathroom at Elmore Junior High appears, showing that the Disney character really is a big inspiration for the team, even if it's just for fun. Darwin is probably the character in the show with the most girlfriends, but the one that has lasted the longest and seems to be his companion for a long time is definitely Carrie. And many people don't even realize it, but the full name of the little ghost is Carrie Krueger, which makes the character a double reference to two of the greatest horror films in cinema history. This is because the name Carrie is a reference to the horror book and movie Carrie, and Krueger, of course, is a reference to Freddy Krueger, the villain who invades dreams and harms people. And indeed, in some scenes, Darwin's girlfriend is pretty terrifying. Actually, even Darwin's name isn't just a coincidence. This is because Gumball and Anaïs's adoptive brother was named after the naturalist Charles Darwin, the creator of the theory of evolution. And it makes sense since we see that originally the orange fish didn't have legs, but he evolved and grew them because he loved the Watterson family and wanted to return to them at all costs. And if, like us, you're a fan of the Watterson family show, comment below with #Gumball and prove it to us. Many people didn't realize it, but the Gumball we see in Season 1 isn't the same Gumball we see in Season 3. Confused? Don't worry, we'll explain. In both Season 1 and Season 2, the design of the show's protagonist featured more oval-shaped eyes. However, starting in Season 3 and continuing until the end of the 6th and final season, we see that his eyes became completely round, giving the character a different look. Going back to the episode The Flower, we see that when the creature escapes, Leslie grabs a vacuum cleaner to suck it up. This is another reference to Ghostbusters where the team uses a plasma beam that closely resembles a vacuum cleaner. And when the character turns on the equipment, we can notice two very cool details involving two of the greatest rock bands of all time. When we see Leslie pressing the vacuum cleaner's button, we spot a sticker that says ABCD with a lightning bolt symbol between the two pairs of letters. This is a clear reference to the heavy metal band AC/DC, but with a clever twist involving the letters. Pretty creative on the animator's part. What's even cooler is that just below it, we can see another sticker where a face painted in black and white can be identified, and next to it is the word Bisou. This is a reference to the rock band Kiss, where the members use black and white face paint, just like in the sticker. Furthermore, the name Bisou is a parody of the name Kiss, while Bisou means kiss in French, which is the native language of the amazing world of Gumball creator Ben Bouclet, who is from France. And this isn't the only reference in the show to the rock band Kiss. In the 6th season, in the Halloween episode, we see that Anton, the character who is a slice of toast, and Idaho, the sentient potato, are both wearing face paint that looks quite similar. And it's identical to the face paint used by one of the band members, confirming yet another reference to the rock band. Aside from Pixar films, it seems that the people who animate Gumball also enjoy a bit of anime, which are Japanese cartoons. We have several pieces of evidence of this in the show, but one of the most undeniable happens when the protagonist transforms into a version of himself with blue eyes and blonde hair in the episode The Pest. This is a direct reference to the anime Dragon Ball Z and the character Goku, who, when he transforms into a Super Saiyan, has his black hair turn blonde and his eyes turn blue, just like what happened to Gumball. In the same Halloween episode mentioned earlier, we can also spot a tribute to another world-renowned Japanese cartoon. If we look at Banana Joe, we can see that he's dressed up as none other than Pikachu, one of the main characters of the anime Pokemon, which is widely watched all over the world. You can even see the red cheeks, the lightning-shaped tail, and the black-tipped ears. It fits Banana Joe quite well, as both characters are almost entirely yellow. Speaking of Gumball's banana friend, in the episode The Banana, we notice a really cool detail that's actually more of an irony. When Darwin, Banana Joe, and Gumball are in the school counselor Mr. Small's office, we can see two extremely contradictory posters on the wall. On one side, we see a poster talking about peace and reconciliation, but on the other side, there's another sign that says the complete opposite, reading bully-free zone, which is a total contradiction, but it's what makes it even funnier. It's because of details like this that I love the amazing world of Gumball. If you enjoy animated shows and movies, this channel is definitely made for you, so go ahead and click the button below to subscribe now. In the same episode we just talked about, we can notice that the poster behind Mr. Small's chair contains a parody of real constellations. For example, we can see that the constellation Ursa Minor is humorously renamed the Great Big Angry Bear in the Sky, with a rather odd drawing to represent it. Right below that, we see another reference, but this time to the constellation Taurus, which in Gumball's universe is called Zippo the Bull. This shows that even in the Wattersons' world, there are signs and constellations. I wonder if they believe in horoscopes too. While it seems like Tina and her family are the only large dinosaurs in Elmore, that's probably not true. When Gumball undergoes a hypnosis session conducted by Darwin, we're taken to a vision of his past where he's at an optometrist's office. And if we look at the eye chart for vision testing, we see that the #1 item to test patients' vision is a picture of a huge T-Rex, exactly like Tina. This clearly suggests that if you live in Elmore and want to stay safe, the first thing you need to learn to spot are T-Rexes, so you don't accidentally bump into one and end up being devoured. Besides being fans of Pixar movies and anime, it seems the people who animate Gumball also have a special love for cartoons from the 90s. The proof of this is in the episode The Ghouls, where we see Tobias, one of Darwin and Gumball's classmates, wearing an outfit that resembles a very famous superhero from the past with green hair. That's because his costume is a reference to Captain Planet, a hero with various powers who was summoned when 5 teenagers united their rings representing the forces of nature. Besides Tobias's green hair, we can also see that he has the planet symbol on his chest, just like Captain Planet had in his own cartoon. This one definitely came from the deep archives. In the same episode, we see that Richard is probably the biggest gamer in the Watterson family, since he's dressed up as Kratos, the main character from the mythological action game God of War. Honestly, I admire Richard. He pulled off a pretty good Kratos look, except for, well, everything else. These were the 20 amazing details and references we highlighted today from the amazing world of Gumball. Now, check out one of these 2 videos we've suggested for you. I'm sure you'll enjoy either one you pick. Thanks, and see you next time!